Hello, Donna here. Welcome to my channel, Transcending Trauma. I finally changed the official name to Transcending Trauma because that's what my channel is about. So the name fits. Be the Art of Living You was the old name, and it kind of speaks to overcoming as well, but Transcending Trauma just fits better. Anyways, I want to talk about the micro macro and just something I realized. And, just when we have awareness, it's a little easier to overcome because when we don't know what we're fighting against, it's really hard to heal. I like to use like the recovery of an alcoholic. I mean, the first step of overcoming alcoholism is to acknowledge that there's a problem, that they're an alcoholic. So, if we have no awareness of what's going on, like how can we speak to the solution if we don't even realize what the problem is, So when we realize things and we have awareness and we notice, that is a big, huge first step in recovery and healing. So I noticed the micro macro. A lot of YouTube sites and in psychology, they'll talk about the cycle of abuse. And, it's the same cycle for everyone, maybe a little different characters, but it's the same movie, same old script, just maybe a little differences, maybe a little fluctuations in the people that are playing the roles, but the behavior is the same. And so it usually starts with love bombing, which I like to call grooming because that's what it is. And it's not loving, and it's grooming. And I like to compare that to when my mom had cancer and I was really researching different healing modalities. One of the really hopeful ways to administer chemotherapy was to put the thing that would attack the cancer inside of sugar so that the cancer cells would open up to it because they loved the sugar. So they would open up to the medicine. Otherwise, like when the poison was given to the body, that whatever, we won't even get into all of that as a big segue, but when it goes in there, if the body doesn't receive it into the cells, it doesn't do so much. So the sugar would open it up. So it would be like the cancer would be like, ooh, yummy sugar, open up. And then there is the toxic poison to the cancer. It's very much similar, the, abusive relationships. They are charming and charismatic, like think of enchanting, they are getting you to open up so they can insert the poison. That's what love bombing is. So, getting you susceptible. That's what vulnerability is. It's susceptibility, open to this, So the love bombing is the grooming. And then, you go into the devaluing, minimizing of you, emotional, verbal abuse, all sorts of abuse, psychological abuse, insidious abuse. Even I've noticed and talked to other people on recovery sites, abusing you by proxy, like either taking something you're insecure about and talking about that in someone else to like hurt you, like vicariously through. I mean, it's messed up, very, very psychologically damaging. So then they'll start the devaluing, where after you're opened up from the grooming, after you're susceptible and vulnerable, then they'll start the discarding and that. And then they most often do the hoover or the shaming, like, oh, you just took it wrong. You're too sensitive, or, all the gaslighting, all the manipulation. I looked up what's the difference between manipulation and influence, because that's what manipulation is. It's trying to influence someone's thoughts, influence someone's feelings, especially their feelings about themselves. That's how awful it is. It's about influencing how someone feels about their own lives, their own being. It's a really, really cruel behavior. But the difference is they're both manipulation and influence are the same thing. They're both influencing, but manipulation has a, you know, a evil cause behind it. Someone can influence someone in a good way, try to influence them to, you know, see the beauty in life, influence them in a positive way. Manipulation is about control. It's about domination, making someone else feel below them so they can feel that hierarchy that they want. It's all about power and control. And, they gain supply by feeling above other people. And manipulation helps them to make others feel low so they can feel that hierarchy, so they can feel that supply. If you feel low, that makes them feel grandiose. And then often that Hoover, rinse, wash, repeat, love bombing, and then too, I talked the other day about sometimes the love bombing goes to just little breadcrumbing, but because of the paired association and your remembrance of the beginning and the feelings, the openness you had to the love. And so the little breadcrumbs are, a glimmer of hope that you're going to go back to that love bombing stage, which just know that that wasn't real. That was grooming, not loving. But so I want to talk about the micro macro and about vulnerabilities because, we can get out of that loop with someone. And usually, before we're healed, when a relationship like that ends, it's after an extreme discard and devalue where you feel like the lowest of low, where they have just messed with your psyche so much and made you feel so low about yourself, and all the gaslighting creates so many seeds of doubt. So you pop out of those relationships feeling really not good about yourself, and that creates vulnerability. And then that's where the micro macro, you're like, oh, yay, I got out of the cycle of abuse. And then you're vulnerable to what? That love bombing again. Because then the next person comes in that starts with the love bombing, and you're susceptible because you just got so devalued and discarded that someone's love bombing feels so good because you feel so bad from that other relationship. So it's the micro macro, like you get out of one cycle of abuse and you pop into another cycle of abuse. And, I noticed this and I started reflecting back, and, it took me all the way back to childhood, where I learned, these patterns from dysfunction. It's the it ends with me thing, oh God, that felt it like a little choke up there. But how do we end this cycle? So it's normal to feel vulnerable after coming out of something like that. But I know wanting to cling to another relationship after a horrible relationship is, it's almost instinctual. We don't want to feel like so untethered. We bond to other human beings, but just knowing, again, awareness that you're vulnerable and you're susceptible, and your picker is off. It's hard to pick healthy after unhealthy because, again, that vulnerability. So I love to speak to solution. So what's solution? One, it's important to be autonomous and strong in self, and it's also important to connect to others. They're both very valuable. But until you can raise yourself up, and there's so much shaming around, pride and, confidence, and, mixing it up with the unhealthy arrogance and stepping on others, when being able to assure self and esteem self is so important, because once you can esteem self and assure self, when you get back into that love bombing cycle with someone, you see it for what it is. You don't need it from the outside external source. You can already fill your own cup. You're already like, I already know who I am. I don't need to hear it from someone else. I'm already confident in who I am as a human being. I'm already confident in my value and worth as a human being. I don't need someone's love bombing to make me feel good about myself. So love bombing will come off icky. It'll be overwhelming. It'll be too much. You'll see through it. It'll be like, whoa, they're a little over the top. How are they feeling this intensely for me when they don't really know me yet? So, it's the solution is feeling good about you first. So you don't need to seek feeling good about you from someone that is manipulative. So, I mean, is it nice to have a partner share loving words with you, words of affirmation for you, of course it is, but, you know, it takes 3 to 6 months for someone's mask to slip, which means you're meeting the real internal self, not that surface facade that people put on. We all do. We have our social masks that we wear. And, when you get to know someone at a deeper level, you get to know their true, more authentic self. So that takes 3 to 6 months. So even them love bombing you, they don't know you to be able to be so in love with you. That takes 3 to 6 months. So, you can feel huge attraction to someone, no doubt. You can feel chemistry, and a lot of times after abusive stuff, chemistry is something to be very leery of because it's setting off brain chemistry from same, cycle, same. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's like, it's a micro macro. You get out of the abuse cycle and you go into another one because of your vulnerability from the one before, so, vulnerability is, beautiful. It means open, it means susceptible, but, being a little guarded is not such a bad thing. So being open, but cautious, and let people show you who they are over time. So you have more information, and just really work at loving your own self, And I know it's hard after cycles of abuse, after so much programming and manipulation and gaslighting, but work at it. I started with self-compassion. That felt a little more easy than self-love. And it's just having compassion for what you've been through and, talking nicer to yourself. And the sense of urgency a lot of times too. It doesn't matter, I'm 55, that, it's, when I first got out of my abusive marriage, I felt that urgency, like I was so old, and now I'm how many years older? I think it's been 7 or 8 years. And now I know that, man, if I never meet that person, and that means I'm never in that cycle of abuse again, then I am way ahead of the game. But also if I don't meet that person until I'm 60, but it's the right person, then darn, I'll be blessed. If it doesn't happen till I'm 70, but it's the right person, I'll be blessed, to be able to have a healthy, reciprocal, nurturing relationship is worth waiting for. All right, peace out.